Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to MTL Sports Podcast episode 31. Recording on a lovely morning or lovely Monday afternoon. What am I talking about? It's been a busy weekend. We were out at the game, all Commanders in Cincy Saturday night. Wonderful time. Great crowd, home and away team. Just a long weekend, y'all. Long day at work, but we here to give you some jam-packed action. Today, we're going to finish up the NFL breakdown of the divisions. We have the NFC West for tonight. The Cardinals, the Rams, the Seahawks, and the 49ers. Who will win? We will let you know coming up soon. Plus, diving into rapid fire, Trey Lance. He was traded. Last episode, we talked about potential trade destinations. Did he end up at any of them? You will soon find out. And also, Mr. Giannis Antetokounmpo, maybe not, is going to sign his extension that he's eligible for next season. We'll let you know our thoughts coming up soon. And of course, we have trivia. So with all that being said, let's get this show started. Let's kick this thing off. NFC West. We're here to break it down. Starting with division winner. We have the 49ers won this division pretty easily last season. Now every team in this division has loaded up besides the that team down in Arizona. It's not looking too good for them, but they're competing for a different division, I guess you could say, the Caleb Williams division. All right, so with all that being said, Lawrence, jump it off. Let you start first.
I don't think the Cardinals are, trying to get Caleb Williams. Let's be realistic with ourselves.
Well, there's a sweepstakes for the number one pick, and they are definitely trying to put themselves in the best position to get there. So, with all that being said, do you think the 49ers are going to repeat this year as division champs, or will, Super Bowl winning team from 2 years ago, the Rams, or the Seahawks, a surprise from last year, will they take over?
I think it was a joke of the Seahawks to go one more year with Geno. Like I said before, I think people figured out Geno by the end of last year. It was pretty apparent. They were getting beat by teams that weren't even that good at the very end of last year. I think he has the ability to win a lot of games because of the weapons at his disposal. I think something that's going to be important is his run game can't fall off. So they have to make sure that Kenneth Walker doesn't get hurt. Make sure he has a plethora of backups there as well. No one really is giving Drew Lock a lot of love, which, case in point, he hasn't really kind of earned any love.
Nope.
But regardless of all that, I don't believe there's anyone really challenging the 49ers in this division. I think it's really clear cut that they're probably going to run away with it. Even if their schedule is a little bit stronger than the rest, a little bit stronger than the Seahawks, but just based on the amount of top-heavy teams they have to play just from the NFC, because the NFC is very top-heavy, and then it falls off real quick.
Yep.
I don't think that's going to bother the 49ers as much as we think, because they're built to win with any quarterback, regardless if it's Purdy, regardless if it's Darnold. Obviously, it's not going to be Trey Lance. But, yeah. I mean, you got Christian McCaffrey, you got Deebo Samuel, you got Ayuk. After Christian McCaffrey, you got Elijah Mitchell. You have a top 10 O-line, top 10 D-line. I think one of the biggest issues this team's going to have, though, is going to be coming into this new season, having lost their defensive coordinator.
Yep.
I think that's going to play a bigger role than everyone thinks, but I think offensively they're going to nullify it just a little bit. I think it's just going to be in those crucial games in which they won last year against top-heavy teams. I think they maybe struggle against a few, let it get the better of them. So with all that being said, I'll start it off with the Cardinals finishing at 3-14. It's a little harsh, but I think 3 is a fair number. Maybe they sneak a 4th win in somehow, somewhere. They can't be so bad. With that quarterback room as the biggest question mark possible, they may as well be that bad. Rams, if you read the reports, apparently Stafford isn't really gelling with the team. It's a little bit too youthful for him on
Yeah,
the
that's what he
offensive
said.
side. With that also being said, their coach only has this is his last year in his contract or something like that. He's on the
Contemplated
fence
retired last
about
season.
going into commentary. So I got them finishing in a solid 7-10. Basically led by their talent. That's probably why they're going to get 7-10. Aaron Donald's going to win you a few. Stafford will win you a few. We'll see if Stafford actually really wants to be there majority of the way through the season. Seahawks, I got finishing 9-8. I think that there's a lot of 50-50 games that they successfully won last year that I think this year they're going to struggle with a little bit more. They go through a brutal stretch facing the AFC West teams. I pretty much think that the AFC West is going to completely wipe them out, and they're going to get 4 losses just from that. I don't even think they don't match up well against the Raiders with that pass rush. So, and then last, I got the 49ers finishing 12-5. I think 12-5 is a solid number for them. Maybe it's a little bit outrageous, maybe a little bit too many wins based on the strength of their schedule. But I think that all comes back full circle when we were talking about playoffs for the NFC West or for the NFC, and we said that a 9-8 team. There's going to be a lot of teams that finish in 9-8. I got the Seahawks also finishing there at 9-8. So there's just going to be a stockpile of 9-8 teams. Someone's got to make the playoffs. Someone isn't going to make the playoffs. I'm kind of leaning towards the Seahawks being that 7th team in the playoffs with that 9-8 record.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so 2 from that division, and obviously 2 from another division. Okay, I'm right there with you. I think we picked every single team the same besides the 49ers, so I'll go in the opposite direction. I got the 49ers winning the division, but I have them finishing at 13-4. I just feel like they definitely feel some type of way about how last season ended. They're very vocal about if they had an actual quarterback for that game, if Brock Purdy doesn't get hurt within the first couple drives, that they have a really decent shot, beating the Eagles. And so I think a lot of them are going to use that as like a chip on their shoulder motivation.
Not even Purdy being in there. Like when Josh Johnson was in, they were doing okay. I think Josh Johnson could have won that game for him if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah, so to me, it just seems like a kind of like a redeeming season almost. Like, okay, we know we could have won, but now we're gonna go out and prove it. So I think that's the mindset they're gonna have, and so I think that's gonna not only propel them to 13-4, but to me, they're probably gonna win the number 1 seed for the NFC. So I think they will finish with the best record in the NFC. So they will be the number 1 seed overall, but definitely in the division. And second, I got the Seahawks. Same as you, 9-8. A lot of 50-50 games last season, a lot of close games that, Gino kind of clutched out. I think he will do just about the same this year. Their draft was really good. I think when we went over drafts and gave out grades, I think we all had something like really good to say about the Seahawks. So I feel like for them, a 10-7 or 11-6 isn't out the question, but that's just, depends on how far along their rookies, come into their own throughout the season. Now, if JSN and some other guys catch fire, they start playing really good like halfway through the season, towards 3/4 of the season. They might just win a couple of games that they probably shouldn't, and hey, that puts them at the 7th seed, so maybe they can slip into the 5th. So I definitely could see that, but that's more of just wishful thinking, I feel like, than anything else. Next, I got the Rams, same as you, 7-10. Now, you said it perfectly. Like, they have all the ingredients for like some success, but not like the potential. Like, they potentially should be right there with the Seahawks in terms of like at least a 9-8 team. But with
Yeah,
McVay, like, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Aaron Donald, does he really want to be there? Like he says he does. They gave him that payday, but like he's pretty much accomplished everything that he needs to accomplish. Got his chip, got his, defensive player of the year. It's like, does he really want to play on this team? And then Stafford, same thing, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm too old for these guys. I came off the elbow injury. Can't really throw it that far. Didn't look too good last year. Like, it's just a lot of uncertainty. So 7-10 is probably like not the ceiling for them, but it's like damn near the ceiling for them. So I mean, it could go that way, or if everything falls apart, like just said, like they might just look bad, just again like they did last year. And then of course we have the 49ers, the Cardinals. They're in the number 1 pick sweepstakes. Probably not going to get Caleb Williams, but they're going to be pretty bad. Not as bad as the Bears, because I feel like Kyler's going to want to come back at some point because he's probably going to try to convince the team that he's still good and don't trade him, because there's already the rumors swirling about that, right? So he's probably going to come back like late on in the season, play a game or two, and that's how they get the 3 and 14 or whatever. So that's pretty much how I broke down the schedule. And
so
I'm with you.
Even. I mean, so I think we're in agreement that the Rams have like they have potential wins. They just don't have guaranteed wins, which that's what they used to thrive on. I mean, I did say AFC West. I meant AFC East, and I was talking about the Steelers when I was with the Seahawks, and I said Raiders. I just think the AFC East is like a gauntlet for this division.
Don't they play the AFC North? Because all the teams play Cincinnati and Baltimore and.
I'm sorry, North. But yeah, it's like a gauntlet for them. The Steelers, Ravens, Bengals, and Browns, in my opinion, all match up well against all these teams because basically the recipe in the AFC North is, okay, the Bengals are the top dog. We have to build our teams around the Bengals. We have to build our teams in order to compete with the Bengals. Okay, you're going to compete with the Bengals. What do you have to do? Okay, you got to load up on corners. You got to have good corners. Bengals go 3 deep in wide receiver. Okay, a lot of those teams go 2 to 3 deep in corner. Okay, you look at the Rams. They wish they could buy a wide receiver at the current moment. They got Cooper Kupp, but Cooper Kupp can get double teamed. He beats his double teams here and there, but pretty much all 4 of those teams in the AFC North are built in order to solidify and knock out one guy. Because their whole goal is, we play Jamar Chase, you're going to beat us with T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. Like, that's just how it's going to be. And knowing that division, they're probably thinking to themselves, let's knock out T. Higgins or Tyler Boyd so we have the one other threat.
Yep.
We're going to make sure you don't beat us with Jamar Chase. So going into the season, you can play the Rams, you're going to get that happen to you. Cardinals, Hollywood, you're shut down. You don't even have the best hands anyways. Seahawks, see, that's the doozy for them, is they go 3 deep in wide receiver as well. So I think in that aspect, the Seahawks, it bodes well for them. However, I just don't think Geno is. I don't think he's beaten Mike Tomlin. He might beat the Browns. I'd rather say that's probably the only one they're going to win in the AFC North. Yeah. He's not beating the Bengals, just because the Bengals are going to score too many points for the defense really to come into effect. And the Ravens, they always have a top tier defense, and they always know how to shut down corners, and they always take advantage of the Bengals. If they can take advantage of the Bengals wide receiver room, Bengals wide receiver room is probably top 2, top 3. Seahawks wide receiver room is definitely top 6, top 5. I mean, we're talking Metcalf. I mean, their weak point is probably tight end. But
Noah Font or whatever his name is.
But, he pretty much does everything. And then you look at the 49ers. You got Ayuk, you got Debo. Only issue for the AFC North teams facing the 49ers is none of them have an electric running back like the 49ers to have to go against. I mean, Nick Chubb isn't McCaffrey. They're completely just polar opposites. Nick Chubb runs between tackles. McCaffrey's receiver. Elijah Mitchell 2 years ago was a better example of a lower end Nick Chubb, which Elijah Mitchell, he can easily come in there and do the body of work that McCaffrey doesn't need to, which means go between the tackles.
Yep.
So I just think that the Seahawks' strengths, the AFC North nullifies. So that's why I got them at 9-8. I mean, everything I read, everything I see, like everyone just keeps like hyping up these Seahawks. They just keep hyping them up. Defensively, I don't think they're the best cream of the crop. Offensively, I think they're good. I just think people figured out Geno at the end of last year, and people overhyped Geno because of the way he came back.
Well, you know what they told him. They wrote him off, but he ain't right back. So I think that's what's going to happen again this year. I believe in Geno. We'll see. The season starts next week, so we'll see how that goes. But moving along, let's get into positional breakdowns, starting with quarterback. This division is a little bit weird because we got one quarterback who might be the best. He's currently out, so we're not going to count him. So let's start with quarterbacks. We got Purdy's the starter, Geno's the starter, Stafford's the starter. And for the Cardinals, we believe it's going to be Dobbs. I think Dobbs is listed as number 1, so QB1 as of today because they cut Colt McCoy. So let's you start. Who's the best quarterback now that Kyler's out?
So Kyler Murray is the best quarterback in the division. That being said, he doesn't come back until like week 13. So we're going to go. I mean, Stafford's obviously the best. Regardless of how he does this season, he's still the best in the division. I just think that he's just not going to have a good season based on all the reports about the team around him. Then I'd probably go Geno. Then I'd go Purdy. Then I'd go Joshua Dobbs as an easy fall in there at the very bottom. With all my Geno slander, I still think he's a better quarterback than Brock Purdy. He just isn't in the same situation to win as Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy just has every single thing. Has a defense, has a special teams, has an offense that has too many weapons that you really don't even need or know how to play with all of them.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to go opposite. I think Geno currently is the best quarterback. I think Stafford, there's too many question marks with him, and he just didn't look like himself after that surgery. So I don't have any faith in Matt Stafford. I feel like that Super Bowl, he's not even that old, but it just feels like the time in Detroit really wore on him, and then like the first season at the Rams, like the offensive line wasn't great. Like let's not like get it twisted. Like that offensive line was kind of bad. They were like slightly better than the Bengals offensive line, so they gave Stafford enough time. But at the time, Stafford had weapons during that season. So I just don't trust him. I think his body hasn't looked too good. So I'll probably go Stafford second, Purdy third, and then I guess Josh Dobbs fourth. That's too much else to say about that. But moving on to running backs, who has the best running back room in this division?
You really want to ask that one? Why don't you ask who has the second best running back group in the division? So regardless of my slander, 49ers obviously have the best running back room with Elijah Mitchell and Christian McCaffrey as a 1-2. They also can throw in the fact that they have a fullback and Kyle Juszczyk. He can pretty much do anything as well. So they got basically everything you could want. I'm going to throw a weird one at you, and I'm going to say the Cardinals have the second best running back room with Marlon Mack and James Conner. Easily going to take my number 2. I'm not completely sold on Kenneth Walker. I didn't think he was all that great in college, being a big Big Ten fan myself. I thought he was good. Didn't think it was as hyped up as they made him. The biggest problem with the running back room behind him is the straight up just rookie. Okay, There's no, depth to it at all. But I'll go with him number 3 just because I think he's better than Cam Akers. I don't think I don't think Cam. I just don't think Cam Akers is what we, I guess I want to say, hyped up to be, just based on his performances last season. And there wasn't any reason for him not to be, solidified in that starting role last year. He just kind of did it to himself. So
yeah, he did.
I mean, you want me to expect something different this year? I just don't. So I'm going to go Cardinals because James Conner doesn't get the same love he deserves, but he constantly, hammers out consistent seasons. And I was looking at a stat line, because we have our fantasy draft that's coming up Thursday, and James Conner has consistently finished in the top 6 in fantasy running backs, and he's finished top 6. He's finished top 5 most often when Kyler Murray was out. What happens this season? Oh, Kyler Murray's going to be gone the whole season. So they're just going to hammer away with James Conner, and Marlon Mack will finish up the pieces as more of like a speedy, nifty guy out the backfield to catch the ball, receiving back.
Okay, fair enough. You're right, 49ers, without a doubt, top running back core in this division. I mean, that's just a bad 1-2 punch right there. There's no denying that. I'm gonna differ slightly. I think I'm gonna take Kenneth Walker over James Conner. I feel like you're right. James Conner's production is always high, always great value, especially if you're doing fantasy. He's always like a great like RB2 or like a flex. But I feel like James Conner is like, at least like last season, from what I remember seeing or watching or whatever. Just like I feel like the explosive plays aren't there. He's still a red zone threat. He still can catch out the backfield, but I'm not getting that explosive play, like big time play that he was, those plays he was making back in Pittsburgh. So I feel like at least for me, from what I saw, I feel like he's lost a step. So, and just what I saw, Kenneth Walker, he was going crazy last season. I ain't gonna lie. He really played. He played ball last season. So I'm gonna go Kenneth Walker 2, James Conner 3. And whoever the Rams have at 4. Cam Akers, who kind of complained because he wasn't playing. And then they trade like Sony Michel or whatever, and then he finally got his time to shine and didn't really do too much. So, he's going to be number 4. So he can stay right there for another season. Moving along, wide outs and tight ends. Who do you think has the best receiving core in total?
Markel. Again, what's the point of the question? What's the point of the question?
Now this one's actually close. This is debatable.
No
Who
debate.
is it then?
It's the 49ers. They got Kittle. It's just the fact of Kittle just gives you like you think that anyone in that, you think Noah Fant, Will Driscoll, Tyron Marby, Kobe Parkinson, Griffin Herbert, none of them. No, trash.
I feel like
Noah Fant is a good blocking guy, but Jackson Smith, he's a rookie, unproven, so we're not going to give him much love. I mean, that's just how we do it. DK Metcalf, he's pretty good. Tyler Lockett, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. But they also have Deebo Samuel. They also got, Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk just keeps getting better and keeps getting better. They got Ray McCrowd to go for speed. They got Willie Snead to go for speed. So they, Ayuk will beat the crap out of you. Deebo's going to beat the crap out of you. And you got Ray and you got Willie to go for speedy. I think just a little bit better than the Seahawks. I don't even think they're a little bit. I think they're a lot bit. I think this is going to be. I think this is going to be the start of in which we see Tyler Lockett start getting hurt more often than not, because pretty much he's been an Iron Man for most of his career.
Okay.
We saw a little bit injuries pop up last year, but I think this might be the year that they actually start coming up to bigger fruition. Then I'm going to go Rams and Cardinals.
Okay.
Too bad Cooper Kupp's so far down after winning Triple Crown 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you. I'm definitely going Seahawks, number 1. The only thing 49ers have over them is tight end. I mean, there's no comparing Noah Fant to George Kittle. George Kittle's second best tight end, but I feel like they had a 3-man def lineup with DK, Tyler Lockett, and JSN. Like that's a bad man right there. Like he's going to thrive playing in the slot in Seattle when the other two veteran receivers are just going to get double teamed constantly, and Font's a red zone threat at any time or like a good check down. So he's going to get open way too often. He's going to have a great rookie season. Easily, you can see him going for 1,000 yards. So I'm going to pick the Seahawks 1. 49ers, I feel like it's close just because of Kittle. I'm not the biggest Brandon Ayuk fan. I feel like, to me, he's just like a really physical receiver who's also kind of fast. So if you want to go like, a fade or want to see him down the field, like he can just like power pass people, out jump people. Good route runner, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of his. So I'm going to go 49ers 2. I'm going Cardinals 3 because they traded for Zach Ertz last season. Zach Ertz is a good tight end. They still got Hollywood, and they still got Rondale Moore, who he looked pretty impressive coming on late into the season. D-Hop was obviously out for a couple of games because of PEDs or whatever. So he stepped right in. Was kind of a surprise last year, especially for fantasy, because I picked him up on the waiver wire before anyone else even knew about him. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to give this kid a chance. And did he help me out? He won me some games. So I'm going to ride with him. So the Cardinals are 3, even though I don't know if Joshua Dobbs can get them the ball a lot this year. We'll see how he looks with just being on a team for like, at this point, 72 hours he's just been on the team. We'll see if he can grasp the offense that fast to look impressive week 1. And then, Rams last. Sucks because Cooper Kupp like deserves to have good people around him, but like the Rams kind of have torn down this roster. Like didn't re-sign OBJ. They trade away.
Well, they still got Van Jefferson. They still got Tutu Atwell.
He's just a speedster, and
but they
so
got
is
Ben,
Tutu.
But they got Ben Skoranek, pretty much Julian Edelman kind of guy. He got Higbee, consistent tight end.
Yeah,
I would say more consistent in past couple years than Ertz. Ertz just can't stay on the field more than 4 games in a row.
Damn sure wasn't consistent last year because that man, he was non-existent some games. Like maybe it's not his fault because they didn't look his way a lot, but I feel like he just wasn't
that whole
a threat.
Offense was non-existent once Stafford went out. It was just the plug and play of different quarterbacks who hadn't played with this team pretty much all season. So, I don't fault him too much for that because, God, dude, they were in with Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield, as a Panthers fan,
they looked
just one of the saddest things I've ever seen in my life.
No, they looked okay with Baker.
I feel like Panthers fan, Baker might be one of the worst quarterbacks ever.
Higbee as a tight end is just not better than Ertz, so I don't think that's possible. So we'll see. But yeah, Rams, it sucks because Cooper deserves to have like another competent like top 25 receiver with him, and he doesn't. Moving on, offensive line. You kind of already hinted at it, but who has the best offensive line in this division?
Stop asking me. It's just going to be 49er answers.
Okay, but
they're just a little step above the rest of them.
The viewers, the listeners might not know that,
Oh, man. Okay, so let's break down the 49ers offensive line a little bit, okay? Okay, well, they got Trent Williams. Oh, man. How am I going to compete with that? The rest of it, they've consistently plugged in guys and consistently worked out the last couple of years. Even when they have guys go down, they still find a way to get a guy to come right back up and work out well. Obviously, they must have a good offensive lineman or offensive line coach there for them. Second,
100%.
I'm pretty much going on a limb here, but I'm probably going to go Cardinals second.
Oh, okay.
They just got a lot of depth with a guy. A guy's been in the league for a while. I'm not going to say that they're a leg and above, or arm and above the rest of them, but I want to put the Seahawks at number 3, just because they don't have a single offensive line with more experience in 5 years. So they obviously know what they're doing as an offensive line coach. He obviously knows what he wants. He wants youth and he wants breadth of it. They have a lot of offensive tackles on the roster, which is completely crazy, but they must be able to plug them in as guards. And then pretty much ever since the Super Bowl, the Rams offensive line has been just completely awful. That is due to certain men retiring, certain men going to other teams because they can get their payday. But ever since that Super Bowl, their offensive line has not been great. It's pretty much one of the reasons why Stafford got his injury. And
100%.
may or may not be one of the reasons why Stafford is saying there's a reason why he's not gelling. It's probably because he doesn't want to get creamed and crushed and destroyed all year.
Yeah, he's too old to be running around like Justin Fields for his life. I don't think he can do that for too many times a game, much less the whole season. So, yeah, Rams have the worst offensive line. 49ers definitely have the best. I mean, Trent Williams is probably the best left tackle in the game. That's a big man right there. I would not want to mess with him. And just the rest of the linemen are just, like you said, plug and play. Really good individually, but as a whole like unit, they're just top 10 at least. Like probably top 5, but at least top 10. So 49ers are the best. I was leaning Seahawks, but you kind of talked me into the Cardinals because they consistently have been able to run the ball really well.
And they consistently give Kyler Murray time to throw. Just Kyler Murray likes to
hold on to the ball. So yeah.
The reason why I'll say why I put Arizona a little higher. They got Kelvin Beachum, who's pretty much always in the Pro Bowl. Whether or not that's just namesake or not, you could argue. Paris Johnson Jr., he's going to be pretty good. He's a rookie out of Ohio State, but he's going to be pretty good. Whether or not they completely just go out and straight up start him. But Elijah Wilkinson has consistently been a good starter. So that's kind of why I don't know if they're going to start Paris. If it was me, I'd probably let Paris chill out for a little bit, because it hasn't not worked the last couple of years. Marquise Haynes, he was pretty good last year. Marcus Hayes, he was pretty good last year for him. Will Hernandez is always good. And, he's not anything special, but you got Pat Elflein and you got Dennis Daly at, guard. They're nothing special. They're not bad. And then you got Braylon Jones at center. Obviously, again, nothing bad, but they do the job right, and they make sure Kyler Murray doesn't get killed. I think that's the thing that Josh Dobbs has the best thing looking out for him is the fact that he's not going to get killed. He might get punished, but he's not going to get killed.
I agree. 100%. Yeah, I think that's all offensive line. We agree on pretty much everything. Moving on to defensive line. I'm just going to take this one. We already said it. You already said it. 49ers have a top 10 defensive line and top 10 offensive line. So 49ers are going to be number 1. And then looking at the rest of the division, let's take a look really quick. I would have to say probably Rams, just because Aaron Donald is literally like 3 men in 1. Like this man gets triple teamed. Like I've never seen a defensive tackle get triple teamed, and this man's still breaking through offensive lines, like wrecking havoc. Like it's just insane. They don't have the depth that they had the past like 2 or 3 years, but I feel like Aaron Donald draws enough attention that the rest of the team can eat as well. So I'm gonna go Rams number 2. I feel like Seahawks.
The Cardinals' weak point is D-line.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the Seahawks have a weak point at D-line, but I don't feel like it's as weak as Cardinals because they had Chandler, he's gone, but they haven't really pushed anyone to kind of replace him or take that role as like the guy on the defensive line. So a lot of youth, a lot of new guys there. So I'm not too confident in saying that they were better than the Seahawks right now, which they played competently last year, but they definitely had struggles too.
The biggest problem with the Seahawks last year is they can't stop the run. They just couldn't stop the run. In my opinion, I don't think they've added anything to the defense to prove that they're going to be any better at stopping the run this year. Maybe they just scheme up to stop the run a little bit better this year. But last year, as a Panthers fan, I remember Carolina going in there, and I was just like, "There's no chance we win," and it didn't matter. I'm pretty sure Chuba Hubbard ran for like 150 yards by himself. Pretty sure Devontae Foreman ran for like 100 and I think it was like 140 something yards. And it was the first time that two Panthers players had run for 300 yards plus in a game since Jonathan Stewart and DeAndre Williams. When you have a package that you literally can just go 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 running backs, aka 49ers. That 49ers are just going to take advantage of the fact that they couldn't stop the run last year, which 49ers consistently take advantage of the fact they can't stop the run. Cardinals, that's what I kind of said with the Marlon Mack, James Conner situation. Cardinals might exploit the Seahawks at home. You never know. Cardinals at home, they can pull off a miracle. Anything can happen when you're at home. But the fact that you could maybe possibly just run the ball down their throat the whole entire game, there's a chance. The Rams, however, I don't see that running back room just running all over the Seahawks. Then you look at, again, we're just going to go back to AFC North teams they play. Dude, Najee Harris is going to have a field day with that Seahawks line. Joe Mixon's going to have himself. He's going to have another Panthers game against that Seahawks defensive line. Sorry. You're going to see the Ravens. You're going to see Lamar. And you're going to see JK just eat them up, have fun with them. And then you're going to lastly see the Browns. Nick Chubb, one of the best running backs in the league. Oh, he's going to have a field day with them. So, you start looking at the matchups for the Seahawks, and there's a reason why I thought they were going to finish 9-8. I don't know if you looked at that deep, but that was my thought process looking at it. Is the Seahawks last year could not stop runs. So when they get in these close games at the end of the games, and there's, I let the 49ers get the ball back. I'm down by 3. There's 3 minutes left. And all I have to do is stop the run. But I've been getting destroyed and beat up and pounded for 4 quarters against the run. Am I going to be able to stop it now? Probably not.
Probably not.
That's how I look at the Seahawks D-line. And then you look at their linebacking room, and we'll break it down again. Linebacking room. Don't really need to tell you who I think is number 1. It's not really fair because you got Fred Warner. And outside of Fred Warner, you want to say there's a drop-off, but somehow, some way, every single season, those running linebackers always seem to find a way to show up and show out. You got Dre Greenwald. He always does something for him. So we're going to see who the next third guy is. But Fred Warner, he's pretty much one of the only comparisons to like the old Luke Kuechly, old Bobby Wagner. Oh, Bobby Wagner's still playing, but Bobby Wagner isn't the same Bobby Wagner he was when him and Luke Kuechly were going head to head, season to season, 120 plus tackles, 4 interceptions, 5 interceptions a game, literally calling the play out at the line. Bobby Wagner's still probably calling out the play, but not with the same impact, not with the same crowd. Because his Legion of Boom is more like the Legion of Picks now, because they have more, I guess, I want to say, lockdown and fancy corners and lockdown fancy safeties than let me hit you as hard as I can safeties. But I still would probably go Seahawks second for linebacking core just because Bobby Wagner in that room, like you're going to learn so much. The Cardinals didn't do themselves any favors by just saying 7th round pick. Here's our best guy on our defense, pretty much. Besides Budda Baker, linebacker wise, the Rams aren't the greatest, but I'm gonna give them a little edge over the Cardinals.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. Fred Warner is a beast. Really comparable to like some of the old legends that we had back at, linebacker. Like I said, as the Mike, he's calling the plays at the line. Just really like bringing that team together defensively, stopping the run is really what the 49ers do pretty well. So we'll go 49ers 1, Seahawks 2, Cardinals over the Rams, because I feel like the Rams I don't feel like they've ever had a really solid linebacking core, at least for a while now. So, we're going to have to pit them last. But moving on to our last position group on defense, we have DBs. I'll let you start this one first again. Who has the best defensive backs?
Markel, stop asking these questions, man. It's very clear and obvious that the Seahawks. Oh, you like what I did there? It's very clear and obvious that the Seahawks have the best cornerback safety group in the league, or not the league, but sorry, in the division. I was got ahead of myself a little bit there. I'm not going to go out and say the whole league. Depending on how corners develop currently, maybe. Quantrick Diggs, Julian Love. You got Jamal Adams is still sitting there, I mean, pretty deep. Then you got Devon Witherspoon, so another rookie. You got last year's breakout rookie and Woolen. So you're just gonna have a great time in your number 1 versus number 2 kind of matchup. There's a little bit of a fall off after that, but pretty much every room has it. If we're gonna go over to the next team, we're gonna go 49ers. Chartavius Ward. Oh, no problems with him. Maybe the issue might lie in the next guy up. Who's going to be my guy? Terrence Mitchell's been in the league for a while, but he's never really been the guy. So they're kind of trying to figure out cornerback 2, cornerback 3. Doesn't really matter though, because safety wise, Hufanga, Gibson Sr. Oh, dude, every single year, Gibson Sr.'s been just a straight up unit for him. Consistent starter, Mr. Consistent. Hufanga had a come out season last year. And then you look at the Rams and then you look at the Cardinals. And you got to say to yourself, wow, who wants this less? Because I'm not sold on anything that the Rams are putting out in terms of cornerback and safety. Looking at the cornerback and safety room, it makes you look over at this Rams 7-10 record, and you go, I don't know about that one. At least the Cardinals can say I got Budda Baker, but at what cost? Because at what point in the season is Budda Baker going? At what point in the season do the Cardinals go, I'm sorry, Budda. We traded all your other homies. They're all gone. You're the last one here. We're sorry. We're going to have to let you go. And Buddha's probably thinking to himself, thank the Lord. Get me out of here. I don't want to be part of a rebuild. Let's see. Look at his age. Budda Baker is 27 years old. He doesn't want to be part of a rebuild. Because by the time they're fully rebuilt, he's 30. 29, 30. He doesn't want to be a part of a rebuild.
I wouldn't either.
The real question should be how long does Budda Baker go playing at a high level for the Cardinals before he really just starts calling it quits for the team and then making his stock go down? Or when does he start trying to just say this isn't happening? I can't be going out here with rookie corners who are just getting beat every time, making me look worse. Is he going to get traded by the trade deadline? What kind of team would pick up Budda Baker? Who needs a Budda Baker? Is it going to be a team that gets an injury? They think they have a good team. They think that the last missing piece is a safety. What teams have we talked about recently that don't have a safety? I mean, there's so many places to plug them in, to use them. It just depends on where he gets, I wouldn't say bought out to, brought to.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think Budda Baker by week 6, week 7 is getting traded. He probably plays his heart out as much as he can. He makes plays, probably has 2 or 3 interceptions by week 7, week 6. Just showing that like, hey, I am this whole Cardinals defense at this point. Where can you send me? Where can I go? and you're going to have a team, this might be like what the Cowboys think, like, this is our year that we have to go all out. This might be the year that, one of their safeties goes down. Dude, I got Gilmore. I got Diggs. I got a good group back there. I got a team that possibly can win. Dude, Jerry Jones will spend some money on some players.
Yeah,
and
this is true.
Buda Baker is one of those guys that, like, he kind of, his image, his tenacity just kind of says Cowboys. I think he'd be a good piece for that safety room.
Interesting.
I think you gave Buda Baker two good corners like that. Buda Baker, I mean, you don't have to worry about him ever again. Like, he'll get his interceptions and he'll mess up some plays, and he'll probably play the run game a little bit harder if he knows that his rest of the team around him on defense is pulling their weight as well. So another team I could see is like somehow the Raiders are somehow good at some point in the season. Like Jimmy G's got them in playoff contention.
Okay.
That owner likes to spend on some players. Buda Baker's going to need a contract. Buda Baker with Devontae Adams. You got two studs on both sides of the ball. I just see those kind of teams. That will all has to come back to see if the the cornerback room for the Raiders develops a little bit this season. So I think the biggest talking point with corner and safety wise in this division is we know who the top two are. We know who the bottom two are. But the real question is, how long does Buda Baker get stuck there?
Yeah, you're definitely right. I mean, it's pretty clear cut who the favorites in this division are in terms of, defensive backs and safeties. I'm not going to disagree with anything you said. I feel like, yeah, you're right. The Cardinals, like, this is their last, like, set of casino chips to cash in. Like, they're just going to hang on to it until they can't hang on to it no more. So, definitely expect Buda to get traded by a trade deadline. I feel like, he made that request anyway, and then I feel like for whatever reason he kind of withdrew it, but it was probably promised that, like, hey, if you just, take back your trade demand, kind of lay off, we'll go through the season, see how we do, and if we're trending down like we think we are, we'll go ahead and get you up out of here for, like, a decent return. So that's definitely something that's in the cards for them. And he definitely can go to the Cowboys. Definitely could see him on the Raiders. I wouldn't put it past like someone like New England. I don't know if New England needs a safety, but they definitely like their defensive players. So New England, what they're building makes sense. So that'll be like a team to watch out for. But yeah, that's pretty much all the position groups in the NFC West. Any final thoughts about this division? I said the 49ers are going to be the number one seed in NFC. Do you think the same, or do you think it's going to be Philly again? Like, any last thoughts?
Well, I think it comes down to a few things. I think that the 49ers shrink the schedule, just the teams that they have to play. Obviously, my opinion is a little bit nicer. I don't see the 49ers, having a hiccup versus pretty much their whole division. Maybe the Seahawks one time.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, that's like, that's 5 wins. So, that's 5 wins.
Easy
You got
5.
the Eagles, who one of their only losses last year was the Commanders. They played the Cowboys tough twice. I think they lost to the Cowboys in another one.
They did.
That was the Minshew game, which everyone was put the blame on Minshew, but I'm sorry, I didn't know. I didn't know the Eagles' defense would allow 42 points. Was it? So
it was a lot. Yep.
I thought they were better than that, but apparently they weren't that game. I don't think Minshew was really at fault. He did have 2 interceptions, but in reality, he had 1 interception. The second one is
not his fault.
There's 50 seconds left in the game. I gotta do something. So it's not really his fault, but you saw last year the Eagles. Their division plays them hard. Their division is going to play them even harder again. And this year, because they went to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And then the Eagles strength of schedule outside of that, like, it's just completely, I just want to say brutal. They had the hardest strength of schedule in the whole league.
Yep.
49ers are like top 10, barely at the very bottom of the top 10. So I'm going to go 49ers as well to finish with the first seed. I have the Eagles obviously finishing at the second seed. Third seed, I probably would give it to the Saints. I just feel like they might slide themselves in there. I just think that with Derek Carr, I think the Saints probably take advantage of that NFC South a little bit more than we think they will, or others think they will. Leaving Detroit, and I think Detroit and the Vikings, I think we know what Detroit is, but we just need to see them put it together in a full season.
I agree.
I think the Gardner Johnson might hurt them a little bit. That safety room is a little bit weak without him. But I don't think it's the worst thing to write home about. But they also are going to be missing a few wide receivers, for a couple of weeks because of gambling. I think that allows the Vikings to get an early lead on them. Also, like the Lions start the season off against Kansas City Chiefs. Like that's
a tough one right there.
That's just mean,
tough
man.
way to start. Yeah.
So I just had them duking it out really hard. And like the best one in that division finishes 10-7. So they just duke it out really hard. I think I had them both finishing 10-7. I think both of them make the playoffs. And then if we're gonna do full circle, I got I think I had the Giants finishing in the 5th seed. Then I got Vikings finishing in the 6th seed. And I think it's just gonna come down to Cowboys, Seahawks, Panthers.
Ooh, spicy.
And maybe the Commanders.
Yeah.
I think all those teams are going to finish around 9-8, and I think there's going to be just a pile of 9-8 teams. How we determine who's the better 9-8 team is just going to be the real question mark.
Yeah, I agree. I think we both had that same sort of mentality. Like, hey, there's going to be a bunch of 9-8 teams. It's just going to come down to whatever how the tiebreakers work out. So, yeah, 49ers are one for me. Eagles are number 2 seed in the NFC. Followed by who we have left, South and
the North.
Yeah, I think the Vikings will be 3, and I think Saints will be 4, and then 5 will have the Cowboys. 6 will have I did say the Lions too. 6 will be the Lions, and I think the Seahawks will squeeze out 7. But the Giants are right there. Commanders are right there. Panthers, up there as well. So it's going to be that 7th seed is definitely going to be something to watch for the NFC at least. Yeah, so that wraps up the NFC West, y'all. Coming up next, we have Rapid Fire. So stay tuned. We got trivia for you guys. First story we couldn't get to it last week just because there's a lot of other things popping up in the news world, but we will bring it to you right now. Mr. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he is not committing to signing an extension. And for good reason, right? Bucks are in they're almost kind of in limbo. They got a new ownership group. We don't know how they feel about spending, they have to pay the tax this year and pretty much all of the upcoming seasons just because of how their contracts look. So Giannis reportedly is not planning on signing a contract extension when he becomes eligible next month. And he won't sign one until he's comfortable knowing the organization will continue to compete for a championship. And then he's talking to the New York Times. He says, numbers wise, it doesn't make sense. And adding on to that, it says the organization still has something to prove before he potentially signs an extension. Basically saying it will make much more sense next offseason, basically. But even then, he doesn't know. So, Lawrence, I'll kick it off to you. How do we feel about Giannis not being committed to, signing an extension? Doesn't mean he's potentially thinking about leaving. Like, what do you think is going through his head other than just like the money not working?
I mean, I don't think there's anything really going through his head. The fact that, like, dude, he's Giannis. He doesn't have to sign an extension. If he wants to extend, he'll extend. But you're trying to extend him to make him get stuck there. But he's playing it smart, in my opinion. He's not getting himself stuck there before, like you said, he knows what happens there.
Yep.
It makes perfect sense. Real question mark re-signing, Middleton for as much as they did. I mean, the man can't play more than half the season, so it's a real question mark. I mean, Giannis is kind of one of those guys who plays pretty much every game, or consistently tries to show up from start every single game. Maybe he doesn't, want to be on a contending team of guys who play half the season anymore. You also got to look at the fact that Brook Lopez is getting older. Who are you going to bring in to get me another piece like Brook Lopez?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he doesn't think that Bobby Portis is the end all be all after Brook Lopez. Also, I think they tried to trade Drew Holiday at one point, to get some other pieces. Maybe he didn't like that aspect. There's just multiple things that can happen. Obviously, like you said, there's new ownership. And I think, and pretty much most people say is he doesn't need to sign an extension a year before his contract's over. I mean, dude, I still got a whole another year on this contract. I'm gonna play it out. Then we're gonna play next season, and we're gonna see how we are. Maybe Giannis wants to have his own LeBron moment, where he wants to say, "I'm gonna hit South Beach," and he goes to Miami. So, there's just, in my opinion, it's just idiotic to try to put all your eggs in one basket and oh yeah, I'm gonna re-sign in Milwaukee. There's no need for that, especially not in NBA. NBA is definitely not a forgiving sport. These owners, these GMs, they're more than glad to take advantage of you.
Yeah.
Plus, whatever he signs for an extension this year, oh dude, he's gonna make more money if he just signs next year. So.
Yeah. Money wise, I think he's 100% right. So basically, next month the Bucks can offer 3 years, 173. But I'm pretty sure, if he waits another year or even 2 years when he's fully off his contract, he'll get a Jaylen Brown type deal where it's 5 years, three, or way over $300 million. So money wise, it makes sense. And you said it pretty good, where it's the NBA is unforgiving. I mean, you can see it right now with Dame Lillard. He signed that extension. He chose to get the bag, chose to commit to a team that he thought was being committed to him. And now look at the situation he's in. He wants out, but the team's not committed to trading him for a multitude of reasons. Some which we already know is BS. Other reasons, I don't know. Maybe the GM is incompetent. That's my personal opinion about that situation. But Giannis is doing good by not signing an extension early. Even if he wasn't concerned about the money, if money was not a concern of his, I think the biggest thing is just ownership. You literally change owners. You don't know how this new guy's going to operate. You don't know if this new guy is okay, you guys don't make it to the championship this year. I don't want to keep paying all this money. All you guys can do is get to the first or second round. So it's
He also has a new coach.
Yes, that
too. He also
too.
has a new coach that he doesn't even know if he's going to like yet. And there's no guarantee he likes his coach.
Yeah, it's no guarantee that the coach is going to have the same success as Budenholzer. Unless just people want to give Budenholzer a bad rap, and deservedly so. Budenholzer got him constantly to the first, playoffs. Constantly, they were a first or second seed. So obviously, the man was doing something right. He just wasn't doing everything right, and they won one championship. So there's something there, but just wasn't always there. So I think keeping his options open, keeping all his chips on the table is definitely smart, especially when it's this early. You don't want to push everything to the middle. You're still young. You still can make all NBA. You don't need to commit too early. So, moving on, we have the Trey Lance trade. We kind of already alluded to it earlier in the show. We gave some destinations last episode. He literally didn't go to any of them. So how do we feel about him going to the Cowboys? And what does that signal in terms of Dak, Cooper Rush, Trey Lance's future? Because I think Trey Lance still has 2 years left on his rookie deal, right? Or potentially if they pick up the 5th year. So how does that look in Dallas?
I think it looks fine. I mean, dude, a 4th-round pick, I'm fine. I mean, I'm not a Cowboys fan, but a 4th-round pick for a former first-round pick, like, no brainer. 4th-round pick for him is pretty decent. You can almost say it's robbery, but we also don't know what Trey Lance is.
Yep.
I mean, another thing, man, commentator. I mean, you probably watched Skip Bayless today.
I do.
Forgot who was on it. Former great
Sherman.
Former great
Michael
Irvin, former great wide receiver for the Cowboys, said it, I think, the best, in which they now have like the perfect quarterback room.
Yeah, they do.
And the way he explained it, it made a lot of sense. Obviously, Will Grier was not the answer during the preseason. He did not look that sharp. I remember him when he was on the Panthers. He didn't look ever sharp in the preseason. So
nope.
I think that probably was one of his final tries at making it into the league. But you know what you have in Cooper Rush behind Dak? So you don't really need to throw Trey Lance out there. Basically, it's a project. Like he said, it's a project quarterback. And you can have any perfect situation in a quarterback room. It's the guy who can get you wins. So like a Jimmy G, like a Dak Prescott, like obviously our top guys like Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, like Lamar Jackson, like it's just certain guys that'll not guarantee, but they're gonna get you wins.
Yep.
They're almost always gonna get you to the playoffs kind of wins. So next, I just need a serviceable backup that if my guy gets hurt for a few games, he can come in and win me at least half. Well, Cooper Rush consistently last year did more than that.
Yeah.
So if all I need you to do is give me half the wins, then we pretty much know that Cooper Rush can do that. And then we got a project guy, in case both of them get hurt, just throw him out there and see what he can do. And then maybe he looks really good if Cooper Rush and Dak get hurt. And then next season, during the preseason, he shows out really well. Okay, now I can trade him for a 3rd-round pick. I upgraded my 4th-round pick. And, it's just certain things. And maybe if Dak, I mean, I don't really know how it's going to go because I'm pretty sure Dak Prescott contract goes out longer than Trey Lance's contract. So it's not like they're ever going to just, leave Dak for him as well. I don't think the fan base would love that either because Cowboy fans are pretty loyal to Dak.
They love that man. But, yeah, I mean, Michael Irvin, he, like you said, he laid it out pretty perfectly. I agree with every kind of point he tried to make. He made this morning on Undisputed. But like as soon as it happened, I know I texted the group chat. I was like, I think Cooper Rush is getting flipped. That's what it makes sense because Trey Lance, I'm pretty sure, has 2 years. Cooper's re-signed for like another 2 years, I'm pretty sure. But Trey Lance has a 5th-year option, so it depends on how the Cowboys kind of want to maneuver this. Do you want to pay a guy his 5th-year option to be the 3rd guy, or do you want to flip your 2nd guy who is a competent backup? Cooper Rush, let's say it, he's a borderline starter. Like, he can win games. I don't know if he's going to be a Jimmy G and win you at least 10, but Cooper Rush, well, he went like 4-1 when Dak was out.
Mm-hmm.
Cooper Rush could easily get you at least 7 wins by himself on any team on the right situation. Maybe not on the Cardinals, but he could replace Geno and get the same results as Geno did. I'm like 99% certain he could do that. So like he could go to a multitude of teams who might need a quarterback to start or even be just like a really good backup. So that's my opinion. I feel like they're gonna flip Cooper, make Trey the 2nd QB, because he also made another good point. You want 2 QBs that have the same style. Dak and Trey Lance are very similar. They both can get out the pocket. Dak, he's getting older, not so much as he could when he was, younger in the NFL. But the only thing about Trey is he's just unproven. So that I feel like it's a big question mark. But for a 4th-round pick, why not? Let's just take a gamble at it. It's not going to hurt anything. So,
and especially if I, trade Cooper for a 3rd or a 2nd.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you get a 3rd or a 2nd for Cooper, I feel like you did pretty good with that. That was like a little project right there, and you definitely got some good value out of that. So we'll see how this plays out. We still got some time to see how this plays out. So nice trade for both teams. But that's it for Rapid Fire. Just two little stories for this week. Just start this week out. We have trivia. I'll let you start first. I started first last episode. What you got? What's on the table?
So I went pretty basic. I just wanted to see your knowledge across multiple sports. So between the NHL, MLB, NFL, and NBA, so the Big Four, can you name the 6 teams that share franchise names, aka the name of the team, not the city, just the team name?
Oh my god.
And it is NHL, MLB, NFL, and NBA. It's tricky for you because I know you're not a big hockey guy.
Yeah, I'm just not going to know this. Oh my god.
The cities might be different, but the sports franchise names are all the same.
The Kings?
The Kings are one. You got the LA Kings, which is hockey, and you got the Sacramento Kings, which is NBA.
Okay.
Just want you to know that was probably the easiest one for you because that was the only NBA one.
I was like, I know there's the LA Kings and the Sacramento Kings. All right. I feel like Blue Jays is one. Okay.
Blue Jays.
Cardinals. Cardinals is one, right?
Oh man, the Cardinals. You got the St. Louis Cardinals and you got the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep. Cardinals.
A little MLB, little NFL action there.
Yeah.
I know you're toggling that deep love for the MLB.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Shoot.
Yeah, the biggest hiccup for you is some of them are hockey.
Yeah, I'm not going to know too many of the hockey ones, to be honest. Let's see here. Well, I feel like the Vikings is one.
The Vikings is not one.
Okay, that's not one.
You thought there was a hockey team called the Vikings?
Yeah, I did.
It wouldn't make a good hockey team name.
I think he might have got me stomped. I don't know. That's the only 2 I can think of, I think. Make one more guess.
See, the problem for you is pretty much the rest of them are hockey related except for one.
Yeah, I can't think of another one. I can't think of any names.
So you got the Florida Panthers and the Carolina Panthers. So Florida Panthers are out of the NHL. The Carolina Panthers are out of the NFL. Then you got the Winnipeg Jets and the New York Jets. One out of the NFL and one out of the NHL.
Oh
Then
my
you got
God.
the Texas Rangers and the New York Rangers. One out of the NHL, one out of the MLB. And then lastly, you got the New York Giants and you got the San Francisco Giants. One out of the MLB and one out of the NFL. I knew it was going to be a tough one for you because of all that hockey. Just wanted to test your hockey knowledge a little bit.
That's some BS. That was a good question, though. I need to step up on the hockey game. I need to get that knowledge up. All right. Let's start here. My question for you. There are 5 receivers as NFL. There are 5 receivers who have 2,500 yards plus through 2 seasons. Who are they?
Of the 5 current ones?
In NFL history, there are 5 receivers who have 2,500 plus yards through 2 seasons. These are strictly receivers.
Through 2 consecutive seasons?
Through their first 2 seasons.
Oh, first 2. Well, one's probably Jamar Chase.
That is the most recent one, yes.
Yeah, because you love anything to do with a Bengals player. Probably Devontae Adams.
No.
Oh, wow. Why'd you say it like that? I'm going to go on a weird one. I'm going to say Marquise Colston.
No.
Marquise Coleman? Was that his name instead?
I know you're talking about, but still no.
Oh, man. So Drew Brees didn't get his man's. What about Michael Thomas?
No.
Oh, so it's probably not a Drew Brees guy. What about a Marvin Harrison?
No.
What about a Reggie Wayne?
No.
Shit. What about a Wes Welker?
No.
Okay, let's go even older. What about Chris Carter?
No.
A Randy Moss?
That's another one. So you said Chase and who else?
Jamar Chase and Randy Randy Moss.
Okay, that's 2.
Trying to think of some wide receivers here. Had to be electrifying in their first 2 seasons minimum.
Yep. Had to be good as a rookie and second-year player.
Just gotta feel like Sterling Sharp, maybe?
Nope.
Okay. Guys who did good their first 2 seasons.
Yep. First 2 seasons.
You don't have to keep saying it. I'm saying it to myself. Okay, I'm thinking here. I'm thinking season. I'm thinking here. Probably a Jerry Rice.
Nope.
Okay. I'm gonna go out and say like some of these guys were, a few season wonders and that was it. Based on this, Chris Carter not being there, maybe Larry Fitzgerald.
Nope.
Wow.
This is wild because I thought you would have gotten at least 3 by now, but there's been a lot of no's coming out of my mouth, so.
Okay, well, my bad. I didn't know that we were being, and they're wide receivers, right?
Oh, yeah.
Isaac Bruce?
Nope. These are some good guesses, though. These are really good guesses.
Andre Johnson?
Nope.
Dude, what the fuck? Andre Reed?
Nope.
Dude, fuck. Did I say Torrey Holt?
I don't think you did, but nope.
Dude, so it's none. I guess I'm just not thinking of like their first 2 seasons. But I'm just like, okay, I don't understand how Reggie Wayne isn't on here. I mean, that man came in the league with Peyton Manning, Julio Jones.
Nope.
Dude, not even with Matt Ryan. What are you doing? Why are you going limp on my arms? You got Brandon Marshall?
Nope. Good guess, though.
Dude.
That was a good guess, yeah.
Oh, dude, I forgot. Oh, Calvin Johnson.
Nope.
Oh, dude, what the? And there's 5 of them?
Yep. Yes, there is.
Keyshawn?
Nope. Another good guess. I thought for sure you would have at least 3.
Dude, I'm throwing the wall.
You have
bro.
some really good guesses though. Like these guesses are like what I would like if I was asked this question. I would probably say everything you said though.
Like Hines Ward.
Nope. Good guess.
Oh, I forgot about Terrell Owens, but I don't think he would have done it in his first year. Terrell Owens.
Nope.
Yeah, see, I don't think he did really good when he first started out. Deshaun Jackson.
Nope.
What? Roddy White.
Nope.
AJ Green.
No, that was a good guess though. I think he's like barely off the list.
Tight ends don't count.
Nope.
Santana Moss.
Nope.
Donald Driver.
Nope.
Dude. Chad Johnson. Ocho Cinco. TJ Hushmanzada.
Good guess. No.
T.Y. Hilton.
Another good guess, but no.
Dude,
you're naming really good receivers. We need like we need like star-studded, electrifying.
Dude, I gave you star-studded electrifying. I literally gave you Isaac Bruce. I gave you Chris Carter. I gave you Torrey Holt. I gave Steve Smith Sr. I know Steve Smith Sr. didn't do it.
Nope.
I don't. Anquan Bolden?
Nope. You want a hint? I'll give you a hint.
Yeah,
they're still playing.
That's a hint for shit.
Two of them are still playing. Two of them are still playing.
Julio Jones.
No. You already said that. That's a no.
I don't care. What, DeAndre Hopkins?
Nope.
Mike Evans.
Nope.
What? No, dude. No. Your list is booty cheeks, dude.
Nope.
Are they like old?
One guy is old, which you probably will not get, but the other 2 are still playing.
So 2 are still playing. Okay, I'm just gonna name people that are Stephon Diggs.
No.
Brandon Cooks.
No.
Keenan Allen.
No.
Mike Williams.
No.
Dude, they had to have a gunslinging quarterback. They just had to have a screw it. He's down. Oh, Tyreek Hill.
No. Remember Tyreek was a special teams guy before he was really a receiver.
I don't really give a crap, bro. I've thrown everything at you. Jarvis Landry?
No.
Dude, I don't.
If you want to give up, that's okay. If you want to keep guessing. No.
Plexico Burress?
No, that's a good guess, though. That's a good guess.
Oh, you just said the other one was like super, super old.
Like, yeah, he's old.
So these guys weren't that good. They couldn't have been like that good. The guys who are still playing.
They definitely are. They have, if they're like 1 of 5 people that ever do it, so.
Yeah, but I mean, I pretty much give up at this point. I think I've named every single person. Like maybe like DK Metcalf.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who else could. I don't know who else can it be.
All right, you give up.
Yes, I don't. I don't believe your
All
list.
right. So we have, and this is according to ESPN.
I threw a whole kitchen sink at you, dude.
According to ESPN, Chase became the fifth player in NFL history to record 2,500 receiving yards in his first 2 seasons, joining Justin Jefferson, who had 3,016, OBJ, who had 2,755, Randy Moss, who you guessed, 2,726, and the last person on this list is Bill Groman, 2,648. And I looked him up. Bill Groman's super old, like back in the 60s. So yeah, you were probably. Do you even know who Bill Groman is? Because I didn't. So you probably. I don't think you're gonna get that one.
No, I mean, I don't know who Bill Groman is.
I'm surprised you didn't say Jay or Justin Jefferson or.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't think Justin Jefferson only in fact because my opinion, I was going with quarterbacks. I was going with wide receivers who had like gunslinging quarterbacks, or they had like all-time offenses. You would never have caught me thinking that Eli Manning would have been on that list. Eli Manning was never electrifying, so I was going to take Philip River guys and Keenan Allen and Mike Williams over OBJ, and
yeah,
I was going to take an Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams. I mean, once you told me there were 2 current guys and there was like 1 super old guy, it made me feel really dumb for like guessing like the TJ Husmanzadas and I mean maybe I guess I was wrong with like the what do you call it, like Terry Holt and like Isaac Bruce, because they probably at the end of their careers when they had Kurt Warner
success. Yeah, it needed to be guys who like out the gate was just like fantastic. Yeah, remember OBJ? I mean, that's a sneaky like little little record he has, or I guess group of people he's in, because you like you said, you wouldn't think him and Eli had success, but like OBJ was cooking early on. Before he got hurt, he was cooking. He definitely could not be guarded.
but that just really goes to show you that Eli really didn't have anything else.
Yep.
He really just didn't have anything else. It's like Eli never like popped off the charts in terms of passing yards and passing every year. So that means he was just doing it all to OBJ. And then like Justin Jefferson, like I knew he was like good, but I just didn't think Kirk Cousins gave him the ball enough.
That man was cooking. That man's been cooking.
No, and once you told me it was like 2 guys who were still in the league, I was like, okay, it's got to be someone who's old. Like I was like, oh, dude, Julio Jones with Matt Ryan. Like Matt Ryan definitely threw him the ball a lot.
Yep. That was some good guesses. I'll give it to you. Like I said, I probably would have said everything you said. But yeah, we both had a good set of trivia questions today.
I was just thinking way too older than what it was.
Yeah. But let's wrap up the show. We're done with trivia. Any final thoughts before we head out on this Monday evening? We get the rest of the week to look forward to. Our fantasy draft is on Thursday night. Do you have give our audience any tips on who you're trying to go after? Our league is PPR.
Of course not.
I mean, I'm not going to draft your player. I already have who I'm going to take number 1.
Sure. I mean, I don't care who you got. I don't want you to know who I got, because the first couple rounds, I don't really know what I'm doing. My main cooking comes in the later rounds when I try to go after certain players and certain pieces I think might have a breakout season, and I always go with some key pieces who always stay healthy. That's kind of another thing I go with. The one thing that I do, I guess I have a question to you, is how early is too early to go tight end? Because in reality, like there's 3 or maybe 4 good tight ends, and the rest of them are just not good.
Honestly, I would probably go as early as 3rd round, depending on how people draft. Because this year, I feel like we might see more receivers in the 1st and 2nd round. because like the past couple of years has been nothing but running backs, unless like you're dumb and you pick up Mahomes in the first round, like some people do. Which I mean isn't a bad pick if you really want him, but you should obviously go receiver or running back in the first 2 rounds. But Kelsey is going to get a big uptick in production if he doesn't get hurt. So like, if you want to get Kelsey in the 3rd round, I would do it.
I mean, I just remember last year, one of our league guys, don't want to say names or anything, but went quarterback like the first 2 rounds and pretty much had a poop squad after that, and just kind of made everyone else mad because 2 of the best quarterbacks were gone.
Yeah, and that person ended up going to the finals somehow.
Yeah,
and he kind of got cucked by that last game, but we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of demoralizing for me because I'd had a good season the whole way through, and then
same, I had a shitty end.
Right at the end, I just had half my team just wiped in like 2 games.
Yep,
There's nothing I could do either.
Yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen again. But I think I'm going to repeat my strategy of load up on running backs and probably get like one like really good receiver. Hopefully that'll work out for me again. But yeah. We'll see you guys on Thursday. We have a fantasy draft, so episode might come out a little bit later. We'll let you guys know ahead of time. But thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for watching, listening, all that good stuff. And we are out of here. Until next time. Peace out, y'all.